if my Keter deck was, teased in 2022 and received a manga promo and then got a right line that gave you an additional attack for almost 1 CB, you would think I'm talking about Blaster Dark, but no. Today we're here to talk about another DZ 9 deck, yay, because I'm never doing Platinum Ezreal's video. You will never get that video on me. Instead, we're going to talk about the other recently new Keter Sanctuary deck that came out, also from the manga. This is Nebula Knights, and there's a lot of weird coverage on it and some weird implications, but today we're going to talk about it in full and how you can play this, but you kind of need to wait for the promo. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Mr. here. Today we are back to talk about Nebula Knights in Standard. As usual, I don't do these kind of deck profiles alone because I don't like them. So today we have Fade of Off. Ooh. So Nebula Knights is a deck from Youthquake that has been teased as long as, 2022, 2023, right? It's been a pretty long time coming, and they finally dropped it in a set with Platinum Ezreal. So Bushiroad came out with this great idea where they gave Platinum Ezreal 1 double rare, and then they gave Nebula Knights 4 double rares. But the question is, did that pay off for either of them? No, which is why they gave you a tournament promo as well. Sorry, magazine promo as well. And this magazine promo is so good, it made Alfred a good deck. So you know that, you have to pay some money for these. But we're going to talk about that as a whole. This deck is pretty affordable actually. Like, despite the magazine promo, everything else comes from one set, which is DZ 9, right? So it's actually pretty affordable on most counts. And it's a pretty easy deck once you've read the manga. But I assume most English people have not read Youthquake. They just use it to farm promos to sell money. So I have no idea if they're actual Youthquake fans in English. But don't worry, Japanese has read it to Youthquake fans too. Not to detriment Youthquake and say Skyride best manga, but that's all I can say about that. Let's start with the right deck then. Go.
Yes. So we have regular D series starter, which is Nebula Knight of Inheritance Serius. So yeah, she's just a regular D series. Yeah, so it's a girl.
The whole deck's a girl.
Yeah. So the Nebula Knights is a whole. It's just a whole female corp of Keter Sanctuary. So it's just all female knights.
Interesting.
So this the Great Zero Serious. So the whole right line is gonna be the same person, which is just Serious. So this is the Great Zero Serious. It's just a regular D series starter. And then you write Nebula Knight of Guiding Serious on top of this specific Great Zero Serious. Then you get to search then you review a Great 3 in your right deck
with Serious.
With Nebula Knights in his card name.
Oh, okay.
And then you can call Coriolanus.
Yeah.
So Coriolanus, she comes out for free from the right line, and then her ability. So later I'll go over her ability, but basically So
it's kind of like dual right lines, right? Like
in a sense, So basically you have the Coriolanus 1, 2, 3, and then you have the Serious 0, 1, 2, 3.
Wait, there's a 0 for Coriolanus?
No, Coriolanus no.
Oh.
But Serious yes.
Yeah, Serious.
So she'll come out for free, and then after that I'll go over effect later. But basically it's an on place +1 if you're playing Nebula Knights, basically.
Oh wow! Yeah. So you can do that on turn 1.
Yes, you just call it on turn 1.
Oh, that's pretty impressive.
Yes, and then
the Grade 2.
Yeah, so the Grade 2 Serious, she's kind of bad, is that when this unit is rolled upon by a Grade 3 card with Serious in its name, so it's basically you do the right Grade 3 on top of the Grade 2. Then you so +1 look at top 7. You choose up to 1 card with Nebula Knights in his card name from among them, reveal it and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. So she does nothing when you write on top of the grade 1, and then she only does something on the following turn. So you have a very, very bad first Grade 2 turn, yeah. So it's kind of.
But you know what the people on Twitter say? There is a very good Grade 2 engine you can play for Keter Sanctuary. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, but we're not.
But we're not doing
it.
Yeah,
we're not playing it.
We can't do that.
There is no space.
You can't do that.
There is no space. Okay, so then.
You're gonna say the second skill?
The second skill is basically when this unit intercepts. So it's only when he intercepts or when she intercepts, she gets 5k shield.
Yeah, but you don't play this at midnight, right?
Yeah, you don't. Oh. But there's a way to get her back. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a way. Yeah.
So that'll be later.
Yeah. So then after that we go to Glistening Nebula Knightlord Serious. So she's the Grade 3 boss unit of the deck.
Yeah.
And so first effect is that act once per turn on Vanguard Circle. You return 2 cards with Nebula Knights in their card name from your drop back to your deck, and then choose up to 1 of your rear guard. And then you search your deck for up to 1 card with Nebula Knights that is grade +1 of that specific card and then you just grade +1 of that card, and then you call it over on the same circle.
So it's inverse time leap.
Yeah, except you have to call over the unit. So
it's overdress.
In a sense, yeah. It's okay. So if you ever played the Fire Emblem TCG, it's sort of like that. Like basically, you take the same. You're supposed to take the same guy, and then you just go a higher level of the same guy.
So it's like Shadowverse Evolve.
Yes, you're evolving the follower. You're evolving the rear guard. Yes, and then after you shuffle.
Okay.
So it's a good anti-deck out mechanism, and then also like you see too many of pieces, you can just put them back. Oh, I wonder who needs this. I wonder who only has a limited amount of raw belly needs it. Then
we'll let you know when you find it.
Then is auto ability is that when she attacks, you count +1, you choose a column and you stand all of your rear guards with Nebula Knights in their card name in that column. And if you personal roll this turn, it's my favorite keyword, Hexor players. It's my favorite keyword.
You know Alfred is a keyword.
You need to then your cost is that you discard a trigger unit from your hand to look at the top cards of your deck equal to the number of rear guards with Nebula Knights in their card name and put them on the top of your deck in any order. So
wait, so this is Tsukuyomi?
Yeah,
but I need to discard a trigger, so it's.
I mean, you can't. If you see 5 blanks, you can't do anything. You still have to put back the 5 blanks.
Oh.
So it's kind of bad. But I mean, at least you will know.
You can prepare for the disappointment. Yeah, but you go -1, no?
Yeah, you technically go -1. Yeah.
Oh, that's not too.
Yeah. Good. So I mean, it's alright, I guess. I mean, you do get to if you do see like decent cards in the top 5, then I guess it's okay.
You can rearrange it. Okay,
yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
And this deck has pretty good deck thinning, right? To my knowledge.
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll see about that when it comes to our grade 3s. We play 4 Serious, 1 in the right deck. This one, we've literally just talked about her and why we are playing 4 of her because of the Persona right keyword. So again, if you forgot, just scroll back to the right deck section. We play 1 card as our Rigetti's piece, and then after that we play 4 copies of Corneas.
Yeah,
the grade 3 Corneas.
Excuse me, the grade 3 Corneas, yeah.
And then of course we have Alfred's Order. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so
this is the Sea of Stars of which the Nebula Knights have their
Nebula Knights path from the Starry Seas. Okay. So yes, it does have Nebula Knights in his card name, so it is very important.
Oh, thank the Lord. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the Corneas, I think I'm just gonna go through all the Corneas together towards the end because I think I'll go over them after this grade 3 section. Okay. So just quickly go over the order, which is the most important upgrade that you need to get for any Keter Sanctuary deck going forward.
Don't say that.
I think for about a year, this card is not gonna. You're not gonna get anything better for Keter Sanctuary than this card alone. Cause
you mean I have to buy it for Alfred and Elzel? That's not fair.
Because it's basically an extra 4 copies of the Fire Regalis in any Keter Sanctuary. Because the first effect is that this card can be played from the drop, and the cost to play is that you have to bind the card. No matter if you play it from hand or you play it from drop, you have to bind it.
I'm sorry, did you just say play the order from drop and bind it?
Yes. Welcome back, Rising Phoenix.
Don't say that.
Okay, so there's 2 effects.
Okay.
And one of the effects is locked behind having your Vanguard being a Nebula Knight name. So we'll go over the Nebula Knight specific effect first, which this deck will mostly abuse because you can only play in this deck, which is Color Blast 1. So that means on top of binding it, you have to pay 1 more Color Blast. You look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You choose 1 card from among them, put it to your hand. You choose 1 card from among them, put it to the top of the deck, and then you discard the rest. So it's essentially
discard the rest.
Yeah. So it's essentially Bifrons, but you don't have to put instead of putting it into the soul, you put it on the top of the deck. So you can put your trigger back on the top.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's pretty good. I think that's not the best part. Is that the last part is that if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you choose 2 of your rare guards and they get 5k on the end of turn.
So you can just stand them.
Yeah. So basically you give 5k to the things that are gonna stand, and then yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good actually.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's why this really helps solve a lot of the stiffness of playing Nebula Knights without the order, because otherwise your units don't really get that much power out of it. Then Keter Sanctuary not gaining enough power is a common occurrence, and usually it leads to the decks being quite easy to stop. So that's why this order is really good for Nebula Knights. But the first effect obviously is what you're here for. If you're not here to play Nebula,
King Alfred!
You have to play Alfred and stuff. So
links description for the Alfred video.
It's literally just top 7. You look at the top 7 cards of your deck. You choose up to 1 unique card with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from among them. Call them the rear guard circle and shuffle your deck.
Wait, isn't that just Reign Supreme?
Yeah, it's just Azel's order. It's also just a Fire Regalis. Yeah.
Wait, so you're telling me that I get Reign Supreme King of Beasts in Alfred which basically means I can just play all my Keter decks together. Man, that's demoralizing.
Okay.
That sucks.
Okay. So when this comes out in English, do make sure you buy this. If you're playing Japanese, do make sure you buy this like right now.
I haven't bought it yet, man.
Stop watching the pause the video and go and put your
Don't
order.
fearmonger, man.
Put in your order, then buy this card.
We are not certain people on Twitter. We're not gonna fearmonger this.
And then because Serius she's a Persona Right reliant boss unit. For now, I think playing the cup is quite important. But as we just discussed, the normal order for this deck is actually very strong, and it competes in playing with the Regalis piece. So actually, you can dispute whether you want to play the cup or you want to play a Blitz order, a Regalis piece, or you want to play just another 5 Regalis. Which means you have 5 Regalis in this deck.
Damn.
Yeah.
5 regardless.
Yeah. So the cup is not bad, but I think overall it's okay. Okay, then now we're just gonna go over all the.
You wanna go to Great Truths first?
No, just go over all the Coronius now, because they only make sense when spoken in like spoken like together as a whole like line in a sense. So basically, it's just talking like it's another right line in a sense. Okay, so Coronius is if you don't remember, is the girl that you get for just riding the Grade 1 over the Grade 0. And her ability is that when this unit boosts a Grade 3 or greater unit with Nebula Knights in its card name, so Grade 3 part is important because most of your good rear guards that you want to be boosting are going to be Grade 3. This unit gets 2000 power, and then until the end of the battle, and then after that, you may discard a card from your hand, it can be any card, to reveal the top card of your deck. And if it is a trigger unit, you choose one of your opponent's front row rear guards in the same column as this unit and retire it.
Welcome back, Reckless Dragon.
Yeah, so it's sort of so that's the second gimmick that they give Nebula Knights in the manga, which is that it's a OTT deck with a lot of removal because they wanted to make the protagonist sweat a bit, like removing his Gigan arms and stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah, but obviously it didn't work. I mean it worked against Silhouette, but honestly I think the number of games that I actually like properly resolve this fact is like 1 out of like 20, so it's like it's not really happening.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. Especially because this deck already doesn't plus that much, so the fact that you're discarding cards is like
pretty yikes.
Yeah. But overall I think 10k booster for decks is actually really good. It makes decent magic numbers, especially because your best rear guard is a Grade 3 anyway, so actually it's not bad. But she's not really here for the rear guard effect. She's here just because she's a Coronius, because
you need to play all the Coronius names.
Because we have the Grade 2 Coronius. So the Grade 2 Coronius is not searchable from the right line, but technically if this Grade 1 Coronius that you get from the right line stays alive all the way until you ride Serious, the Grade 3, you can go from Grade 1 to Grade 2. So the Grade 2 Coronius effect is that when it is placed on the same rear guard circle as a Grade 1 Coronius, if your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 2 or greater, you cannot blast 1, and you search your deck for a Grade 3 Coronius and you ride it. Not ride it. You place it on top of that Coronius as then.
So it basically is, if your opponent is Grade 2 or greater, and you have the Grade 1 on the board, when it's placed on the same circle, right?
You can't blast
one, and then you place the Grade 3,
yes.
and then these guys just go to the drop.
Yes, they all go to the drop. So it's not overdressed, but basically in this essence it's the same. It's supposed to be the same unit like growing up. So
right.
Go for the 1 to the 2, go for the 1 to the 2 to the 3. Yeah. So Coronius is the partner unit. Then yeah. So.
Okay. Any other skills of this one?
And then if your Vanguard is a Nebula Knight, this unit cannot be retired by opponent's card effect. So Basarga cannot retire it. You can't be retired by
Eugene.
Yeah, can't be retired by Eugene. Can't be. What other things? What other? I don't think there's many like retire based decks outside of Basarga. Am I crazy?
King of Knights, Alfred, Blaster Blade.
Oh yeah, Blaster Blade can't shoot this. Yeah, stuff like that. So Coronius is very good in this current environment because Balsagra can't no, but you're technically giving Balsagra her draw while you're not minusing cards from your board at least.
Does it matter?
It sort of does.
We all lose.
You never know. You never know. But now we have the main star of the show, which is the Grade 3 Coronius, which is a Nebula Knight or Hellraiser Coronius. So only when this unit is placed on top of the Grade 2 Coronius, then you search your deck for a Grade 1 Coronius, and then you call it to any back row rearguard circle. So it doesn't need to be the same column as it. So you can, so let's say like you already have a grade 1 Coriolis behind the grade 3, you can call it to another column and stuff like that. But then then after that it unlocks a later part of the ability is that if your Vanguard is grade 3, because remember you technically can go into grade 3 Coriolis when
Turn 2.
when your Vanguard is grade 2,
Right.
because of the grade 2 Coriolis effect. But only when your Vanguard is grade 3, then he gets the actually good part of the effect, which is Anatogaster.
Anatogaster.
It's actually Anatogaster. You Soul Blast 1, you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, you choose 1 card from among them, put into your hand, and then you put the rest either on top or bottom of the deck.
So you can either jump Coriolis into Coriolis early for the early aggro column,
Yeah.
or you can wait your extra turn to your proper turn 3, and then you get an extra skill, which is the Anatogaster skill.
Yes, for Soul Blast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's actually really good.
That's pretty good actually.
Then, when this unit attacks, if you have a Vanguard Nebula Knight in his card name, this unit gets +5 until end of turn. Welcome back, Burning Horn Dragon.
Wait, isn't that just Sazanda?
Yeah, it's, technically it's Zasanda.
Oh,
But I mean, it's Burning Horn, I guess, because every time he attacks, it's just like the new Argo Sirens triple rare.
Oh! Argo Siren.
Maelstrom is.
I'm not doing an Argo Siren video unless I'm being
So
trained.
so because Serious restands a whole column, every time this unit attacks, it's gonna just attack, then stand,
Gain 5,
gain 5, then attack, and stand, gain 5. Yeah.
My god.
Yeah. So this is usually your best restand target because it can stand.
Okay.
Because it can stand passively over time. Then
Anything else we should know?
because this card will be too good. Otherwise, if they just left it like that, so and then you won't get to use the gimmick of the deck. Otherwise, is that at the end of the turn you have to retire this unit. Mandatory to retire this unit, and then you have to call any grade 2 Nebula Knight from your drop zone as rest. So
can you just call?
you can
Coriolis?
call the grade 2 Coriolis, but if you already have the grade 2 Coriolis on the field, you can
no
actually
sense.
call your right line Serious back to the regular circle to get the intercepts.
Oh, that's how you loop it. Wow, that is stupid, huh?
Yeah, it's really dumb. I mean, thank you, Shu. Like, it's fine. It doesn't
Yeah, but that's actually a pretty fun gimmick, actually.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, I don't want you to retire the guy, I hoop the guy. Here comes me. Oh, that is irritating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically that's the second right line in a sense is that you play the serious right line to then basically upgrade your Coriolis all the way from 1 to 2 to 3 in a sense. So you it's like basically like you have your Vanguard and then you have your partner unit and then you go
That's so
together.
cute.
Yeah. So it's very law accurate. It's very cool as a gimmick, but I think they might need to give more than just Coriolis. Like they might need to do like one more, like 1, 2, 3. They want to really make this idea stick, because otherwise it's like.
But does this deck have space?
It does. There's a lot. I mean, honestly, I think this first wave of Regas is like easily quite replaceable. I think a lot of them are actually like quite bad.
Alright, so let's talk about the rest of the deck then.
Okay, so now we move on to our grade 2 proper. So we have the grade 2 Coriolis that we've already discussed already.
Oh, you want to go back to the rest of the
No,
deck? I was just going to do the rest of the deck.
No, we'll just do by grade now. We'll just do by grade.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, because
Okay,
we
so
already
anyways,
did the grade.
We are playing all the
threes.
Coriolis at 4, so
Yeah.
the other grade 2 that we are playing.
Yes.
Is
The other
this one.
the other grade 2 is Hajina. She sort of looks like Frederick from. I mean, yeah. So actually, a lot of the stuff actually looks like stuff from Five Awakening. Like the boss unit looks like Lucina.
True.
Then this looks like Frederick. And this is supposed to be allegory for Robin now, but
Allegory for Robin.
yeah. So Hajina is the only actually decent card in this first wave. That's why I bought 4 silver rare, not just because I like the art, because it's a cheap silver rare anyways. And Hajina's effect is that during the turn, if your rear guard was either retired, so retired counts as when you call over it. Yeah. Or put into your soul during your main phase. So there is a rear guard that puts herself to soul during the main phase, but yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
we'll go over that later. Then this unit gains +5. If your opponent is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets 10 instead.
It's for every time a card moves.
No, it's continuous.
Oh.
So that means that she's
It's
just
one
a
in
passive +5 or +10.
Alright.
Then when this unit attacks, while it's boosted by a Nebula Knight in its card name, so there's only 2 grade 1 Nebula Knights, and one of them,
We just covered.
she doesn't. Coriolis, she doesn't activate her +2 when she boosts a
Grade 2.
So it's just gonna be AK booster, but it doesn't matter because the magic number is the same. But then then the other girl also doesn't gain any power. So she's at max gonna be a 28k column or 38k column. So pretty weak in current day standard. I can't believe I'm saying 38k is pretty weak in 2025. Yeah,
Chrono Jet Dragon.
So you Soul Blast one and you discard a card from your hand. So yeah, so you notice the patterns. There's a lot of discarding to do the control effects. Is that you reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a trigger unit, you choose one of your opponent's front row rear guards and bind it. But if it's not a trigger unit, you choose one of your opponent's back row rear guards and bind it.
Hey, this sounds familiar.
And then the card that you reveal, you either put it on top or bottom.
This sounds familiar. It's the same skill.
Not this. So
Almost
Cornelius is retire, and
She's
then
bind.
Cornelius doesn't have a backup effect if the card is not a trigger. But Hajina, she has an effect that either is it a trigger or non-trigger, she will do something.
Okay.
And then because Serious, the grade 3 Serious, lets you manipulate the top few cards of the deck, you can actually choose whether you want to review the trigger unit or not trigger unit. Because then after that you can choose to tuck the card top or bottom afterwards.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually Hajina is actually quite strong as a backup attacker, but obviously she's worse than Cornelius because she doesn't get the power, she doesn't do the Anatogaster effect. She's just there for control, which like 99% of matchups I don't care about unless your name is Basagra.
Well, that may change in the future, so can't speak too soon. And then the rest of the deck is very simple. It's just 4 PG, 2 Radia, and then our last Nebula Knight name.
Yeah, so the last Nebula Knight
I'll cover
name
these first.
is
PG, cause we want to stay alive,
PG.
obviously. Radia, we used a lot of discard as we've previously mentioned,
and
but
also
not
this
a
deck,
lot of energy.
and also notice that uses 0 energy.
Oh, so there you go, 0 energy. So, yeah.
So the alternative is that you play Salgaon in this slot, but I feel Radia offers more utility because there are sometimes that especially because your grade 3 unit requires you to discard your biggest shield in your deck. It's kind of cringe if you don't have any way to neutralize the discard cost. So you have an it, especially because this deck also doesn't EB7 a lot, because most likely you are going to manipulate the top card of your deck before you can EB7 and draw one. So it doesn't make sense for you to even use the EB7.
Right.
So you're just better off just using the EB3.
And the last Nebula Knight name is
Formulate. Or Forma Loot. Oh, it's Forma Loot. I keep thinking it looks like Forma. Okay, never mind. So when this card is discarded from your hand during your turn, if you have a Vanguard Nebula Knight in this card, then you may call it to Red Card Circle, but if it's called, you cannot attack with it.
Okay, but you can boost with it.
It's similar to the DZ BTO3 Double Red Dragons, the ones that you can discard them during your turn, but they can't attack. But they can boost, so yeah. So Ames is right. They will be able to boost afterwards. Yeah. And she's able to boost. So all of your skills that says that you have to just discard a card generically from your hand, so either the Grade 1 Cornelius or the Hajina, you can just discard her, and then you can call to another column, and then you can act as an AK booster.
This feels like Youthquake again. Is it just me, or this feels like the second coming of Youthquake where we play another girl that says when discarded lol, like I don't know, man.
That girl at least can attack.
Yeah.
Wayward Therapy Angel at least can attack.
True. And the second skill?
If your Vanguard with Nebula in his card name, as an act, so the act ability, you have a Vanguard with Nebula in his card name. You put this unit into your soul, and then you look at the top card. You either put it top or bottom. So
this is an emergency scry.
So you -1 just to scry. Yeah.
But this is like your last case resort. Like I just need a check. You just throw
it.
Check.
Okay. And then this is how you proc Hajina's effect. If you didn't use the
manipulate.
If you didn't use the time leap effect. But I mean, every turn you're gonna use the time leap effect because it's literally choose 2 Nebula put to drop is not a cost.
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, this card seems pretty functional as your last name.
Yeah, but she's definitely on the chopping block.
On the chopping block? Okay.
Yes.
And then our grade 0s, the rest of it is play Eidos Farah because it's a Keter Sanctuary. 3 effect fronts because we restand the front row. 8 crits total. We are playing an OTT style deck. It makes no sense if we don't use the crits. And then 4 heals. Yeah,
so you can play draws, but the thing the deck doesn't kill fast enough to play draws. So I think now, especially in this economy, I think you have to definitely play 20k shield fronts. Otherwise, it's just complete suicide.
And that will wrap up our Nebula Knights deck profile. Honestly, this is pretty fun. For something that comes out of exactly 1 booster set and 1 magazine promo, I think this is pretty okay. But Keter Sanctuary has so many decks at this point. Where do you think this stands overall?
I think it's, if you're looking at this year's Keter Sanctuary. I think it's definitely head and shoulders above Hellraiser at this point. So I think for a first attempt at trying to like so this is like what the fifth time they've adopted a Youthquake deck from the manga into the actual game.
Yeah.
One of them is a rogue deck. Two of them are like semi-competitive, which is Starhaja and Corti Blaze. Then one of them is Silhouette.
Silhouette's okay.
So this is, I think, if you're ranking in terms of how they well to translator, I think this is like full marks.
Yeah.
It's essentially full marks because I think they really gave it almost everything that in the manga that was like mostly functional and not like too over the top, and it still feels very very anime. But if you're asking me to rank this like when like the last Keter Sanctuary that we did on this channel was what
Alfred.
Alfred
Technically Platinum as well.
Alfred,
Which
Ezo, and Youthberg. I think this deck is not doing that well.
I mean, this deck is definitely better than Alfred Platinum, I would say, but not as good as Youthberg. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think.
In fact, Youthberg wants the.
Yeah, Youthberg wants this, and
Will take the-
Youthberg also wants one more card from me. Youthberg now plays the incredible support that Alfred got, which is of course my dearest friend Gallatin. So Youthberg actually plays both this and this together. So he just kidnaps all support this year, huh?
Yes.
That Youthberg. You know, we need to ask a Youthberg player what they think. Why? Why have you taken our support? What's wrong with you? Answer. No answer? Okay. Thank you, man. Alright, so I guess that's it. We are never talking about Keter Sanctuary again until they, give us a deck that doesn't need promos. I wonder when we'll get a Keter Sanctuary deck that doesn't use promos. Right, Gurgi? Oh, God, no.